So about putting somebody in here, a bit of crew. A bit of a guide on how you might build a model, but how you might then push that a little bit out of the, this is how it goes together on the instructions, this is how you might do something a little bit different. That's my favourite nostril. Hello, hello. Do you remember this? Might have seen it on my Instagram. That's a Orc plane, Space Marine plane, bits of a lifted dropper, I think, but mainly a Gorkanaut. The two pieces went together, make that nice prow shape of a boat. Bit of wing off of a Orc plane, made that final prow shape. The plane down the middle is great. That'll be the kill rig, big gun shooty nonsense, forget the word, Dakar. So I'm looking in this one about putting somebody in here, a bit of crew. Some badass looking knob character to steer this here commando boat. I went to Games Workshop, their Tottenham Court Road shop, moved a few doors down to bigger premises, so they've got way more space for gaming tables, painting tables, and they've got some of the limited edition stuff on the shelves there, and they've got Forge World, which I think is the first time I've seen other than up at Warhammer World. So that's cool, that's a new turn. Wonder if that'll happen in more shops. It wasn't everything, but it was, you know, your Contemptors, some of the more interesting crew bits and stuff. It was pretty busy in there. Everybody was hot for the Kill Team Octarius box, which I ordered a couple of because, as you may have guessed, I like a commando. I was in green stuffed beards onto my old lead ones, and of course I picked up some of those, two of the Octarius boxes for more commandos. I'm going commando heavy on this one, on my new list for my Chaos squats using the Orc Codex. So it's a bit of a guide on how you might build a model, but how you might then push that a little bit out of the, this is how it goes together on the instructions, this is how you might do something a little bit different. It's not a guide as to how to copy exactly this, because you may or may not have something daft like that to put it on. Maybe you do. Going through a thought process, how you might do something similar. Don't do chaos squats, it's a nightmare. You'll end up green stuffing so many noses. If the rumours are to be believed, the squats are coming back, which is just my luck, you know. Spend years building them at great expense, and then they release a model range, which is cool, I guess. Might get a codex that plays the way I see them in my head, although I really enjoy perverting the Orc Codex to suit my Chaos Scotty means, whatever that means. Green light looks nice, doesn't it? Nice that, wasn't it? Green. Here's a little green fella. So nick it, I'm not going to use on this project, so what I'm doing here, just stashing that little fella, his two parts, off to one side, soon to be lost in a pile of crap. So there's quite a sizable chunk there, just trying that out, seeing how I might get him to sit up there on the deck, what arms I might use. Essentially it's a rule of cool here. I'm just looking at what's going to look like a chunky Orc pirate boat captain dude. Blood Bowl bits, big chopper, and then this Forge World biker arm, I think it was. He's normally gripping a handlebar. I thought that might fit nicely on the ship's wheel. So let's try that out with some good old blue tack. Yay, blue tack. Yoink. So I'm gluing up what I can, but it's blocked. So just tickling it with a bit of heat, gentle squeeze to clear that pipe top tip. Right, I've snapped off the truck bar there just so that we can easily get in here so you can see what I'm doing. So I can do what I'm doing without my meaty fingers getting in the way. Jiggle, 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 trying lots of things, and lo and behold, I was initially trying to get him up here, didn't really pan out because it looked like an orc holding on to something for safety while shooting a gun, when clearly you just want to shoot your gun with no regard for your own safety. Put yourself in the mind of the orc. Put yourself in the mind of the orc. It's made a right dent in my head, that. So, where does an orc look cool? Down the front, crumping, leading the lads. Let's have him on this prow of the ship, up here somewhere. So what am I drilling out here? I've forgotten. Oh, that's his hand. I found a nicer sword. It seemed more piratical. The other one was more of a big knife. This seemed like a nice sword, and it kind of follows the line of the arm. One arm out behind him, one arm leading forward. Now I want this hat. That one, it's a bit goth, so I've gone for this kind of aboard ship cap. So that of course is going to need chopping away. So good old blue tack, holding that in place. But of course, before I cut that, I'm going to glue some bits on, because as you know, your glue now will be drying nicely, and you'll not be waiting on it. It can be setting up while we do this. Nice sharp blade, gently pushing down, cut into the blue tack, and then just a couple of trims there. Get the rest of the little ear bit sticking out, a little comms piece that I've taken away and sanded a little bit. Lovely, that looks like it's gonna fit. Couple more little trims. Job's a good one. I might green stuff that in later. Probably won't see it. Right, so I've wrecked my blade doing that, and I've got another cut to do. So just another little tip here for when you're changing a blade. Wrap it up in the paper and put the blade away from you. Line it up and then against the table, much in the same way as the blue tack, so that you can't slip and cut your fingers, because you can't slip any lower than the table. And you won't need plasters. There you go, I'm a carpenter and I've got all my fingers clearly doing something right. So this big old box, it needed angling in a different direction. Kind of, I could have used anything else, I could have chucked it away, but it seemed like a nice nod to the original model to keep hold of that. So you can see here I'm resting the model on a block. So again, I'm not kind of pushing down against my own hands held up off the table. The table's good and solid, not going to slide away, not going to go anywhere. You know, I could have found something bigger, edge of a book or whatever you got to hand. Just going to keep making little cuts. So I start with a sharp knife and then I'll occasionally swap back to my blunter knife and scrape away with the back edge, until you've got enough of your knife in there that you can comfortably do this kind of seesawing action where you wiggle, you know, trying not to put too much pressure, because something will give, and if it slides out and you find the knife comes your way, you will be using those plasters. So working my way around until I can comfortably, with a combination of blue tack and the block, cut through that. There we go. And I think that survived. Flatten off the boot flatten off the box and you get an idea of how it's going to go, looking bloody heroic down the front of the boat. So there's the blade pinned into the hand, just trimming away the hat as close as I can to the neck. Not interested in the hat, ping that away. And now let's try that out. Just gluing on those shoulders before I go back to doing the hat. There's a weird seam line there. It could have been along the edge of the pack, but for some reason they put it kind of halfway through the back of his vest there. So what I did to hide that was put some glue on it and then move the plastic around as it was soft to cover that up. As you can see, leaping ahead now, it's all coming together, all the parts have been setting up. Just grab that blue tack away, and we're getting very close to getting this lad positioned. Now there's this funny little gap down the front there, and obviously for painting purposes, and these old Chaos spikes at the front of a Rhino, I believe. Yeah, it must be a Rhino. They're going to get glued in there. I thought I was going to put like a stick or a tube or a bit of something, a bit of sprue down there, but this does a nice job of covering that hole up, and that'll enable me to glue a whole bunch of other gubbins in there, make a nice positive attachment, but enable me to take him off. So I've marked a bit of the bolt there, which makes a little impression on the boot, and that tells me where to drill a little spot so that the bottom of the boot just kind of notches onto that. That bolt sits into the soft underside of his boot, and that hook goes in. Another little bit, I love these from Zinj Industries. You can see I've stuck them all over my Gazgul there to make him look a little bit more gubbins. They make these lovely engines that I've put in my trucks, so you can have a whopping great V8 in the front of it instead of the piddly V6 that they come with, because you know you want to burn as much Promethium as possible while you're being chaotic or orky. They also make these little bits, so these are shells and then spent shells, but those spent shells look really nice if you stick them on the end of a gun. So all those other ones are probably on my Alpha Legion, because I wanted silencers because we're dead sneaky, but you knew that because you are Alpha Legion whether you like it or not. So that is zinge.co.uk. They're great. I heart Zinj. This is a love letter to Zinj. Anyway, just going to glue that up, pin it, job it, catch that so it doesn't ping off, stab the cat, poke you in the eye, or just shoot miles away, get hoovered up. Important there, just be patient, lining that up, because that'll ruin a model if your gun's wonky, eh? So, here we go. Let's get the hair off of the green stuff that I'm ironically going to make hair with. Just because there wasn't much going on that chin, I've just built out a lump there to give me a bit of a framework to then run more beard off of. Also what I'm going to do here is use some of these bits off of a Thunder Tusk model. I built a Killer Can model, but it got smashed to bits in the flood when one of the boxes toppled over, and didn't get too wet, but it did smash to bits. So I'm just going to I just like those little bits of hair with a skull dreadlocked into it, so I'm going to stick one of them on there because I think that feels particularly piratical. Here we go, so that's just the framework and then the skull bit. Now the hair, I tend to just pull off little bits. You see me, I just kind of pull it. That makes a nice kind of stretched shape, vaguely triangular. You get kind of natural forms come out of it. There's a close-up of one of them. You can see there's a kind of a little bit of a line, a little bit of a fold down it, which again just makes for some thick and thin. You can see, oh look, it's beautiful, it's coming along wonderfully already. No, it's going to look rough. be ready for it to look bad until it looks good. It'll look bad, it will look bad, it will look bad, it'll look okay, and then you'll find you've got cat's hair stuck in it, and then you want to throw it at the wall. So you can see I'm just poking in these pieces, and I'll let them set up a little bit until they're a little bit tougher. I'll work on the other side of his face while they tack together a bit, and then I'll go around the other side, start from left to right, right to left, whatever's your preference, so that I can work on it a bit tougher. So there you go, moustache, bosh, done. Oh, my hair consultant's here, here he is. I'll come over for a chat and make sure he can get involved. Here we go, that's a nose. That is a nose. This is why you don't want to do chaos squats. Well, it's a madman's job. That's putting a nose on and pulling the moustache off. Yep, that'll happen a lot. Told you it was bullshit. Don't do it. Don't do it. There you go. Fucking terrible. What is that? Comedy. That's what that is. It's fucking comedy. Right. It's just adjusting the cat hammock there. Moving him off of my testicles so that I can concentrate, because it's very warm. Right, there we go, there's a nose. As you'll see, that green stuff's set up a little bit, so I'm just dragging the knife through it just to get a little bit more texture in there. And the nose and the moustache again are setting up a little bit more, so they're getting a better grip on the plastic of the face. So I'll work on the beard, and then in a minute I'll go back to them. It's a fine balancing job. Sometimes with green stuff you've got to leave it overnight. Sometimes you can work on it in the same evening. The bigger the blob of it, the quicker it will go off. An exothermic reaction, look up that one. See, there you go, you can see I've sculpted the nose a little bit more into the face. It's super difficult to shoot, as you might imagine. The tiniest of movements and I'm in the way, or I'm out of focus. It's the bane of shooting hobby stuff, I'm afraid. But there we go, we're nearly there. I thought, his coat's blowing that way, I've got this nice hair from some kind of snake lady from Age of Sigmar, what a mate gave me because he had leftovers. So yeah, I've put that there, it's blown in the same direction, makes him look whimsical yet like a violent bastard with the combination there. I think it looks nice, so we'll just let that glue up, twiddle our thumbs because everything else is happening, and we'll put a bit of stuff in there. Work on a Contemptor Dreadnought that also got smashed. So his legs came off and I've reposed him. A little bit green stuff there in the shoulder, you can see. Dynamic as fuck. Yeah, check that out. Anyway, that was fun. So he's dried. A little bit green stuff behind the hat. Filling that gap. So similarly, a little bit of spit on your tool. A spit, no, I mean your water from your jar. Purpose jar. Yeah, no one spits on their tools. We all spit on our tools. Yeah, that's got a nice little chisel tip on that one. So you can see I've made the lines from the plastic to the green stuff, and then I kind of guide there, and I'm trying to blend so that they've got the same look and feel. Try and look at the plastic part and then mimic that into your green stuff, and it won't leap out. Where possible, use a texture stamp. I've done other videos with texture stamps. Fucking love a texture stamp. There we go, he's coming together. There you go, that looks alright, that looks alright. And there's the bad man on the front of the boat, titting about with the light. I love that silhouette. And there we go, hanging out, shooting the bad mans. There we go, pretty pleased with that actually. Just a quick one, how I like to approach my models. Some hints and tips on things there, nothing too advanced. Just try different things, move different parts around. Yeah, pretty pleased with that. That's my favourite nostril. That'll be the kill rig, big gun, shooty nonsense. Forget the word, Dakar. It's probably Dakar. Everything seems to have gone Dakar. You know, Dakar, like rapid fire and assault, but shit. What? Face. That's my face. My face there.